Hey guys, so I'm back to do another installment of my Neil Young vinyl collection. I'm going to tackle the 2000s. Neil's output in the 2000s, it remained prolific, but some of it is not as good as some of his prior stuff. But being such a fan, I always look for and eventually I find the merit in what he's doing. And I think every album has its gems. Um, but yeah, I touched upon this last time. I didn't really get into it. This is Neil Young's Silver and Gold. At the end of every decade, Neil Young fans, a lot of them believe that Neil is reborn creatively. I don't know how true that is, and this being a prime example. In 1969, he put out Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere. In 1979, he put out Rust Never Sleeps. In 1989, he put out El Dorado and Freedom. Then in 1999 came, people started wondering what he was going to do. And after some delays in the album, which kind of made people speculate more, we got Silver and Gold, which is a acoustic, mostly acoustic, um, country folk kind of thing. Um, I think it's a decent album. You have Good to See You, Silver and Gold, Daddy Went Walking, Buffalo Springfield Again, The Great Divide, Horseshoe Man, Red Sun, Distant Camera, Razor Love, Without Rings. Definitely some really good tracks in here. One song we actually used for our wedding song, and I actually mentioned it to my wife. We were trying to decide on a song. Me being the Neil fanatic that I am, said, how about Silver and Gold? And I just kind of got a look. My wife, she likes Neil Young, but I'm obsessed, and you know. But after a couple weeks, she came back and said, "Why don't we use that song?" So I said, "All right." I was happy about it. I was just surprised that she agreed to it, and it worked out really well actually. But so there you go, Silver and Gold. He toured this before it came out, 1999. His solo acoustic tour, which I mentioned I saw. What a great show. And then after the album came out, he toured again with people he's played with throughout the years. His wife too. Um, Duck Dunn he played with. Ben Keith and a few other people he's played with before. The Pretenders opened this show. It was a great show. I loved it. It was a great time. You got an 18-minute version of Cowgirl in the Sand. Walk On. Fool for Your Love, which is only on this. Peace of Mind from Comes the Time. Words, which is awesome. Motorcycle Mama, Tonight's the Night, all along the Watchtower. Um, it's not his greatest live album, but it's decent. I'm glad I got it. It's also the soundtrack to Neil Young Live at Red Rocks. It's a DVD put out. I have that DVD as well. Then 9/11 happened, and Neil wrote a song about it pretty fast and had it released as fast as possible. Almost like recreating the Ohio thing, where he wrote a song, recorded it, and had it out within a matter of weeks. And that's Are You Passionate, which was released eventually on this. Neil Young's Are You Passionate? I'm sorry, the name of the song was Let's Roll. But this is the album, Are You Passionate? Not his best. This is Neil playing with Booker T and the MG, so it kind of has a soul tinge to it. But good tracks on here. You're My Girl. Mr. Disappointment's pretty good. Let's Roll Again is alright. Are You Passionate? Going Home. Now that's the one track on here with Crazy Horse. He actually had recording sessions with Crazy Horse at a studio, an old jazz studio, Toast, I guess. And there's talk of that. He didn't like the sessions, but there's talk of them being re-released as part of the archives. I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully that works out. But there you go. Neil Young's Are You Passionate? And then Neil put out his rock opera, which was Greendale. He made a movie with these songs, and it tells the story of the Green family in Greendale. It's probably the most convoluted story you'll ever hear. There's a lot happening. All the different members of the family have their different things, but this is still a fantastic album. The movie's pretty good too. And the show, I've seen this tour. I've seen this show 4 times live, and it just got better with each time. The first time he played it was in New York at Madison Square Garden, and nobody knew that he was going to do this. He came out, he played this whole album from beginning to end. Before it was released, nobody had ever heard it. I mean, that just takes balls, especially New York. New York's a tough audience. Some people were not happy. But he has a whole stage production, and it almost looked like an elaborate school play, and with characters who were lip syncing to Neil playing live, and it was pretty neat. This is a Classic Records box set. It's a beautiful box. I mean, it comes with 3 LPs. Comes with a booklet. The art is done by, I think it's Jim Muzzo or Muzzo. He did the art for Zuma, the Zuma bird. I'm sure you're familiar with. But yeah, it comes with the booklet. Comes with a bumper sticker, Where the Devil is Greendale. The devil makes an appearance in the story too. Showbill with all the characters and things from the, I guess, the movie or the live show. You have a 7-inch green vinyl. I won't take it out, but it's Sun Green, the song. And then you have the 3 LPs. Again, this is Classic Records, 200 grams, beautiful box. I think this sells for over $100 now online, maybe even more if it's sealed. But again, you have the vinyls, pictures of each character on there. So, pretty neat. Great album, though. I mean, Sun Green's a great song. Carmichael, Bandit is just fantastic. Some other ones. Falling From Above, Double E, Devil's Sidewalk. The first 5 tracks are just fantastic. But it's a great album. I love it. It's definitely one of his best during the 2000s. So yeah, there you go. That's Greendale. And then, let's see, where can I put this? Run out of room here. And then as the Iraq War waged on, Neil, like a lot of Americans, grew impatient, unhappy about the whole thing. So he wrote an album on it called Living with War. And this has a whole big chorus on it, 100 people. It's 100 voices from 100 lands. It's an angry, electric album, very political, and it's awesome. I think it's some of Neil's best guitar in a while. After the Garden, which opens the album, is fantastic. You got Living with War, The Restless Consumer, Shock and Awe, Families, Flags of Freedom, Let's Impeach the President, Roger Now, and then he has the chorus singing America the Beautiful. The one thing about this album is that I'm not crazy about the chorus on it, and he actually put out another album of this, all the same songs, but without the chorus, and I think without the trumpet player, and that's the one that I'm missing. That's on its way in the mail. So there you go, Living with War. So then Neil got sick. He had an aneurysm. They found an aneurysm. There was something wrong with his vision, and he went to the doctor, and they found an aneurysm. They had to do surgery. So in the midst of all that, recovering, having the surgery, recovering, he wrote and recorded Prairie Went, which is a very introspective album. He talks a lot about, his childhood growing up in the prairies, his mortality, his family, his father who had dementia. But great album, really good. I like it a lot. It's actually on 3 sides. It's a 2-disc album. The 4th side is an interview, which is pretty neat. But he didn't tour this, but he did play in Nashville, and that's what was on Jonathan Demme's Heart of Gold, the performance for this. Great album, though. After that, Neil put out another album, Chrome Dreams, and this was in 2000, I want to say 7. Yeah, 2007. Great album. I like this one a lot. This is him and his electric band, which is made up of people he's played with, session players from throughout the years. Excuse me. I saw him play this at a theater, which is literally 5 minutes from my house. It was fantastic. I got home. I got there quick. Got home quick. But what a show! It was just great. But this album, it's actually a sequel to an album that was never put out called Chrome Dreams. So he has a sequel to an album that was never released. So it's kind of typical Neil. But you have Boxcar, which is an older song. Fantastic. Beautiful Bluebird, another older song that he recorded for this. Awesome song. Spirit Road, Dirty Old Man, Ordinary People. Ordinary People it's an 18-minute song or something, and it's from the Blue Note period. And he just put it on here, an old song. Didn't re-record it, he just put that track on here. Fantastic though. Ever After, The Way, The Believer, Shining Light, and then No Hidden Path, which is another full side of this album. Great song. It's in the vein of Cowgirl in the Sand, Down by the River, Change Your Mind, one of those real long extended guitar solos. But again, great album, beautiful packaging, just fantastic. So yeah, I saw him on this tour, and then I saw him play this. I saw him again the next year, and he was still playing with the same band. It was in Madison Square Garden, and I was front row, and it was just unbelievable. While this was still, I don't know if it was considered the same tour, but he was still with the same band, and it was just unbelievable. At the time he was in New York, he recorded songs with what became Fork in the Road. It's a song mostly about his Lincoln hybrid Link Volt project he did. Take an old car and make it try and run without gasoline, a hybrid car, which actually caused a fire he recently had. But so while he was in New York, he recorded a bunch of songs there for this, and some songs I think on his ranch or elsewhere. Actually, real quick, here's the show bill from that Madison Square Garden show. Beautiful show bill, or program. Great photographs. Fantastic show. And if you're familiar with this book too, this came out recently, Neil Young's Long May You Run. It's just a history of his career. Great photographs. And a lot of things in it. This photograph here, if you can see that, was him at the show, Madison Square Garden, where I was front row. And when I saw this in there, I was thrilled. I thought it was the greatest thing that I had like a decent picture from that. Because seeing Neil front row, I had snuck up the front row at another show and saw the whole encore of a couple songs, and it was just like unbelievable. But this show, I actually was supposed to be up front, and for the whole time, he played till like 1:30 in the morning, and it was just fantastic. He played Cowgirl in the Sand, and I was right there. I mean, I was front row, a little left to center, and it was awesome. I was right in front of Ben Keith, who's no longer with us. But anyway, a little side note there. So yeah, Fork in the Road. Not his best album, but I still think it's pretty good. When Worlds Collide, Fuel Line, Just Singing a Song, Johnny Magic, Cough Up the Bucks. I like all those songs. The ones like Get Behind the Wheel, Off the Road, Hit the Road, they're so-so. And then you got Light a Candle, which is awesome, and Fork in the Road, which is pretty good. Again, beautiful package by Neil. All his records from the 2000s are just packaged so well. But there you go. And then, of course, his latest, Lanois. Great album. I mean, I've talked about this enough. Everybody's talked about this enough. I think it's his best album of the 2000s, and I'm so happy about it. I'm so glad he did this and put it out, and it just shows everybody that Neil's still with us. He's still strong. He's still writing great songs, and the production on it is just beautiful. So there you go. So now we're up to date on Neil's albums. My next video, I'm going to do my CSNY stuff and my archive stuff. So stay tuned for that, guys. And again, thanks for watching.